Mike Attic. I saw this video. I don't know if it was on Facebook or not, but it was this dog. And you know those big ass $10 bones you can buy your dog? I mean, my dogs don't get $10 bones, but this one had one of those big ass, wide ass, huge $10 bones. About half as big as the dog. Anyway, he grabbed this bone right in the middle, and he's trying to pull it in his little doghouse. But the thing is so long, he can't get it in there because it's hitting the door. And it shows him there. I don't know if it was time lapse or what, but it looked like the damn thing kept making the same mistake over and over. And he wasn't going to get that bone in there. He drops it for a minute, and up comes this other dog. I guess it was his little buddy that lives at the same place. Grabbed it by the end and backed right on in that thing. And I don't know if the other dog got lucky and just grabbed it at the end, or he had already been through that learning process. But you know, when I think about step 10, it's a process of me becoming more efficient and hopefully learning from my mistakes. Now maybe that first dog was a newcomer. You know, he ain't really worked his 10th step yet. But you can bet that other guy had been here for a minute, because he went straight for the end and knew that what he needed to do to be more efficient. And our book on 86 through 88 talks about we become more efficient. We don't burn up energy foolishly trying to run the show basically on those old ways I was doing things. And it does take practice to learn how to do things differently. First, you got to step out on faith that it's even going to work at all, because I've read before in here, there's a sick pleasure in familiar pain. I'd rather go to something that I know and stay in some bullshit rather than step out into the unknown. And what this 10th step is asking me to do is step out and live, use coping mechanisms and skills and learning mechanisms that are foreign to me, because I had not even thought about them before. I thought about Minnesota Fats. Somebody was watching him play pool at one point a long time ago when he was still alive, and I still have a VHS tape of him playing, and somebody mentioned, he ain't no good, every shot straight in. But see, what they don't know, and if you've ever played pool, you realize there's a lot of effort that went into being able to make it look easy. A lot of practice and effort went into making it look effortless or efficient. But you can bet that anybody that has been here for a while and seems reasonably happy has practiced a lot and made a lot of mistakes along the way. I may not belabor my mistakes in a meeting, because I believe this is about experience, strength, and hope, not war stories, weakness, and despair. And I try to focus on the glass is half full most of the time. But don't be confused that I've made some, I won't say terrible, but terrible mistakes in recovery. I've tried to learn from them. So not everybody is going to make the right choice in the beginning, but what these steps ask me to do is look back on ever how it worked out and try to find a lesson. Sometimes it's worked out and I look back and go, man, I'm glad it didn't work out the way I wanted. I remember going to my father once, and this was a long time ago, it was about a girl. And he said, well, how's it going with so-and-so? I can't even remember who it was. So long ago. And I said, it didn't work out. He goes, son, let me invite you to see that it did work out. That's how it worked out. And these steps are asking me to step back and look at things just like that, very objectively. Because, see, I can get caught up into my own emotion subjectively and be able to miss the lesson, miss the message, and even miss the reality of how things are going down. And that's why in the 12 and 12, it actually says in the step 4, which step 10 is a continuation of, by the way, continue to take personal inventory. It says in step 4, it is only when a newcomer can objectively rather than subjectively look at these things, can he fearlessly rather than fearfully look at it. So see, what the steps ask me to do is step back and shuck away all the emotion, trying to. Sometimes it's harder than others. Sometimes it's impossible. Objectively look like somebody who's not a part of the situation, a disinterested party, and say, what actually happened? Not what I wish would happen. not what I hoped would happen, not anything so clouded by emotion that even if it's right in front of my face, I just refuse to acknowledge it. And I've been that too. But it's asking me to step back and look at the way things actually are and try to learn from them. And the book says, and I say, and my experience has been, these steps, I'm going to have to swallow some bitter pills about myself. And sometimes they are bitter. But I can promise you this. As time has gone on, more of my shots have been straight in. As time has gone on, I have grabbed the bone by the end. And I am not making as many and the same, more times than not, mistakes that I was when I got here. And if that sounds good to you, working these simple little set of tools and having life be more efficient and seemingly easy to those disinterested observers, it is easier. It's easier to stay here than to rely on that same old bullshit and ultimately pay the price and go back out there, back in that shit, and then hope that I get a chance to come back, because I'm not guaranteed to get another white chip ammo. Not these days. So I learned a lot from the puppy and the bone, and I learned a lot from Minnesota Fats. But I got to keep doing this thing to stay in practice. I'll pass.
Thank you.